Okay, we're recording. You're up.
Okay, great. All right, thank you guys for being patient as we work out all the little details here. Okay, so Laura, Chelsea, and I have actually been talking about what we wanted to talk about on this call so we could kind of bring you guys the question or answer the questions most guys have. And so tonight I am going to talk first kind of how to apply personal and how to
Wait a second,
how to not let distraction. Yes.
Can I cut you? Is Christy breaking up for anyone else, or is it just me? Yeah, you're breaking up, Christy.
Yeah, she's breaking up.
Okay. I just wanted to say that because we didn't hear that last sentence.
Christy, I wonder if you could get on your phone. Like, oh, you are? Okay.
Let me try something else.
Sorry, I know it's not an easy fix. But I didn't want you to keep going. Thanks, everybody.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it cutting out or is it clear?
It's good. It just says your network bandwidth is low, but you're clear right now. No, you're cutting out again.
I don't know how to change that. Okay. Laura, why don't you go ahead and I'll work on my network.
Okay. Do you want me to go ahead with my part too?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm not sure what Christy said, but Chelsea, Christy, and I got together, and Christy's idea, of course, leading the charge about how we wanted to get a team call together and just kind of really share some nuggets and share some how-tos, some motivation and stuff on how to fire up your business, because it's May, so we're like almost halfway through the year, and we're hitting summertime, which is a time that was the most explosive for Chelsea's business last year. So if you're going into summer thinking it's going to be slow, think again. Chelsea blew up last summer, and Christy had an amazing summer too. And I saw a dip in May, and then it definitely picked back up. July was a big month for me. So keep that in your mind. It's going to be a big month. When people aren't on vacation, they're thinking of something to get them ready for vacation. So we got together and got some topics. And the section I'm going to talk about really is just like ways to, the title of the whole call, fire up your business, but to build momentum. And so hopefully you'll find some nuggets. If you have any questions, just stop me. No big deal. So the first, I wanted to go over 3 main areas. The first one is, this is very general, but we want you to get creative with your business. So what's so awesome about Beachbody is that this is a business where you don't have to recreate the wheel. You can, success leaves clues, so you can completely follow the successful. You can follow the top 10, any other coach that you want, see what they do, and you can recreate it to make it your own. And most likely it'll work as long as you put in the work and consistency. And that's what's beautiful about it. And hopefully you find that true on Team Motivate and Inspire. We all share menus, we all share content, whatever you need, like, we're shareable. So that's awesome. However, you're also the CEO of your business. So we want to encourage you, totally think outside the box, totally pour gasoline on this fire of momentum you have going, totally do something that might be different than what everyone else on the team is doing, because, oh my gosh, it might work and we might all copy you, you know? And some ideas of that, I'm looking at my phone because this is where my notes are. I'm not, just so you know, but so some ideas of ways to get creative that people on our team have used in the past have been sending out a neighborhood letter. I know Christy did this and she saw a lot of success. I mean, that's totally non-social media related, but it worked. She sold challenge packs from it and it was completely out of the box. Allison Parker just did a clean eating 101 group. It wasn't a free 5-day challenge. It was like, I'm an expert. This is what clean eating is. And she had a lot of success from that. I just did a 10-day challenge instead of a 5-day challenge because I was really lacking in my business of creating relationships. So I thought, let me make my free challenge longer and really message those people behind the scenes. And it worked. I mean, I have some solid relationships building from that group. So give it a try. Last fall, my team and I, we did like a 30-minute live clean eating group, and it was a lot of work. It totally bombed, but we tried it, and it was a 30-minute, like we posted everything, and I thought it'd be awesome, and it didn't work. So some of these things won't work, but we just encourage you to try. And the other thing about this is use what you have to work with. This is kind of a side note, but I just wanted to share it. You know, we all have excuses in this business. Like, I work full time. If only I didn't work full time. Oh, I'm a stay-at-home mom. My kids are around all the time. If only they were in school. Well, guess what? I have success partners that do this full time with no interruptions, and their excuse is, if only I didn't have all this time, I'd be so much more structured and I'd get stuff done. So there's always an excuse, but use those excuses and flip it and use it for your business. And my example there was when I was pregnant, I met someone that was a Beachbody coach, and she was like, oh my gosh, you're so lucky you're pregnant. You get to use that in your business. That's amazing. You're going to kill it, because you all have before and after photos. And I thought, yeah, right, that sucks. I'm pregnant. I'm exhausted. I can't do any work. I'm so tired all the time. So I was using it as an excuse rather than flipping it and using it as a tool. And so wherever you are in your life, like, get creative, use it. I have so many regrets about how I didn't utilize my pregnancy and share it more in terms of Beachbody and encouraging people. And like I said, it won't all work out, but some of it will. But we just want to encourage you to get creative. So the second big thing I wanted to share that we thought was important was one of the vital behaviors. I know we hear this a lot, but it's so true, is to be a product of the product. You need to be a product of Beachbody. And drink your Shakeology, do a fitness program from start to finish, and share that journey. And it's really important that you share it, not because you need accountability from your Facebook friends. You should be getting that accountability in our challenge groups. Because if you don't post your sweaty picture one day, most likely your Facebook friends aren't going to notice. So that it's not for accountability. It's not to make sales necessarily. People aren't going to see like, oh, Laura's doing 22-minute hardcore. Let me contact her and buy a challenge pack. No, that's probably not going to happen. It's more about breadcrumbing, and you do it to show you're following that it's simple and that anyone can do it and it gives results. So I've been doing 22-minute hardcore. My whole angle with sharing my workouts is I'm busy. My kids can sit through this workout. They're young and their attention span doesn't go completely AWOL, and I get in a workout. And that's kind of what I've been trying to share, and that's the market I've been attracting for this program. And it takes behind the scenes messaging. No one has straight up been like, hey, I saw your awesome bear crawls on Facebook. Let me buy a challenge pack. So it does take behind the scenes work, but we just encourage you, be a product of the product. When you're sharing, keep your posts interesting and different. Like every day, a sweaty picture of, I killed it on 22-minute hardcore resistant 2. I mean, a lot of people don't know what that means, you know. Make it more of a story. Breadcrumbing is a big term in Facebook. Like I already said, when you're telling a story about you doing this program, like, oh man, I set my alarm clock for 5 a.m. and it didn't go off. So here I am, 10 p.m. at night. My kids went to bed, but I got my workout in. Like, that's kind of a story, you know, and people can relate to that because they sleep in too. So keep it interesting and mix it up. And you know, there's so many examples and there's so many people on this call, and a lot of y'all do that and do amazing at it. So if you're sitting there wondering like, but I do that, or do I do that? Don't question yourself, like own it. You do it. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying things in general terms. And finally, when you're a product of the product, it totally keeps and builds momentum in your business. One, people trust you because you're doing it. One time I was selling a challenge pack through private message, and the girl messaged me back and she's like, so do you drink Shakeology? I was like, yeah, I do. Heck yeah, I do. And I got to tell her my personal story. And thank goodness she asked so I could share that with her. I just assumed she would assume that I did. But your Facebook followers, I mean, so you're a Beachbody coach, but they don't necessarily know you do the products as well. So people will trust you when you're doing them also. It makes Facebook posting, totally easy. I've heard it from a lot of people like, oh, I get stuck about what to post. I don't know. What are my 3 to 5 things? Well, Beachbody and fitness is one of them. And personally, when I'm rocking a challenge, like a program, and I'm eating healthy, posting on Facebook is so easy. Like, it's like, okay, how can I share this story today? Getting my workout in. And so it just really helps in that area. And some examples of building momentum in the business: Melanie Mitro, #1 top coach. We all know who she is. But if you go back to when she very first started, that girl gets up every day between 5 and 5:30 a.m. She gets in her workout, and every day she posts a sweaty selfie, but it's always a little bit different. It's always like, I almost overslept, or she uses it as motivation. But girl is consistent. She builds trust with her following. She's doing the workouts as well. And that's definitely been one of her keys to success, is people have seen that. Like, but again, you're not Melanie Mitro. I'm not. I can't get up every day at 5 a.m. because I got 3 kids and I'm exhausted. So do what works for you. But I just wanted to give you an example. Another example is Chelsea. She, before she got pregnant, and she's killing it now too. Chelsea, you're killing it. But before, she did Insanity Max 30, and she had like killer results. She was posting, doing all this stuff in her living room, and they were always interesting. Like, I remember one day she was talking about her high tuck jumps and a non-scale victory, and it was so motivating. And she'll tell you she had a huge momentum in her business at that point because she was being a product of the product. So we just encourage you to do that. And lastly, like the most important thing we felt like it was important to share with you to fire up your business is recruiting. Now, I know a lot of people are like, how do I recruit? Recruiting makes me uncomfortable. So straight up from Beachbody Corporate, we have heard that approximately, until you really become a 2-star diamond coach, 80 to 90% of your focus should be on recruiting. I'll get into what those things look like in just a second, but just keep that in mind. And the reason being, the majority, if you're in this to build a business, which all of you are because you're on this call, which entails building income for you and your family, the majority of your income long-term will come from team cycle bonuses. And team cycle bonuses come from building a team. And so Chelsea and Christy will tell you, we've all seen them kill it on Success Club points since they started, like 30s, 40s, 50s. But they'll both tell you they've maxed out, like over that course of time, of how much they'd earn per week for commission. And granted, it's a number you and I'd be like, yeah, I want to make that much money. But in the long run, you'll make more with your team cycle bonuses if you focus on that versus focus on selling commission. I don't want to share their story, but I know they would totally agree with that and share that. But so that's why it's really important to build a team. And also it's duplicating helping people. Like, you can help 10 people, your team can help 100. Then when you build it, you can help 1,000. I mean, think how many people team motivate and inspire are helping. So what is recruiting? You're doing a lot of the activities, so don't freak out. One is running free challenges. And you're doing that because the most important part of that is to form relationships with your challengers. So during your free challenges, you should be messaging those people, interacting in the challenge groups, and forming relationships. So then you can invite them to a 21-day challenge, a 22-minute challenge, or even straight up, like, you would be an awesome coach. Another thing for recruiting is selling challenge packs and helping people in your paid challenge groups, also forming those relationships. So the best coaches start out as challengers. Not all coaches start out as challengers, but the majority do. And so that's really the area you should be cultivating and building relationships, getting to know these people, and really digging in and sharing with them this opportunity, this life-changing opportunity that can really help them long term. Another activity is inviting free challengers and 21-day fixed or paid challengers to be coaches. Like, straight up message them and say, have you ever thought of this? You'd be awesome. Don't be scared to do that, because they might be thinking about it and it just takes a nudge from you. Another activity is, once you do sign up a new coach, working with that new coach for the first 3 months in their business to get them started right. train them, have them go through the team training, answer questions, get on calls with them, walk them through stuff, be there for them. Because we all know when you start in this business, it's like drinking from a fire hose. You're so overwhelmed. You're like, I can't find that link. What? I don't know. Help them out. Because if you get started right the first 3 months, your success long-term is much more likely to be easier. Another activity for recruiting is growing your network on Facebook. And Chelsea's going to get into this a little bit later, but that's important because, again, you're forming relationships. These people will start getting to know you, and you'll start following them and getting to know them. Are you seeing a theme? It's all about forming relationships. The other thing, which Chelsea will also talk about, is mastering social media to create a following. So people will get to know you and you'll have relationships. So social media, that I know a lot of us are all focusing on, that's a part of recruiting. So I just want you to know you're already working on those things, but those are the core things you're working on. Side story really quick, like when you hit Diamond, it is so tempting to dream up your team name, which is cool and important, and make a logo, which again, we've done, and like, I don't want to dog anyone that has, but y'all, I spent like 2 hours one day trying to create a logo, and guess what? I didn't even get the task done, and I wasted 2 stinking hours. For what? For a logo nobody cared about except for me. So how many people could I have private messaged during that time and grown my business? So until you hit 2-star, I just encourage you to stay focused on like the vital behaviors, the consistency, and doing those things. Final thoughts on some of the stuff I mentioned is that none of it works unless you're consistent, showing up every day. If you take a week off, your momentum will just plummet because people will stop trusting you. They'll stop following you potentially. So stay consistent. Have fun. I want to remind you, like, sometimes we make this so difficult. It's not. Our job is Facebook. Have fun with it. And if you're not receiving joy from this business, then reevaluate how you're doing it and maybe change some things up, because this is all about, it's supposed to bring life, not death, you know? And the last thing from the 10 times book rule, if you haven't read it, totally read it. Grant Cardone is the man. Don't feed your fear. So if your fear is to private message, if your fear is to get on the phone, if your fear is to whatever, don't feed it. Don't think about it. Don't give it time to fester in your mind. Don't wait. Just take action. Just do it. So that's all I have. Hopefully there's some nuggets in there. I'm pass it over back. Christy looks like she's solid now.
Okay, can y'all hear me okay now?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so first I'm gonna talk about personal development. And I know you guys hear us talk about that all the time. And to be completely honest, my first year in the business, I was like, personal development? I'm for that. But I promise you will get so much out of it, and it really is a must. So Laura was talking about the 10 times rule. I know Laura, Chelsea, and I have read that. My success partners and I have read that all 2 or 3 times each. Every time you read it, you will get something else out of it. I'm telling you, you have to read it. I'm reading it for the second time right now, or listening to it, I should say. And today they were talking about how the most successful people, like the CEOs of companies or the people that make the most money, actually read 60 personal development books a year. So, you know, as we always say, success leaves clues. So, you know, it's obvious that people that are reading and learning more about their business, or just learning more about people that are successful, are, you know, more successful. So I hope you guys will take that seriously and start applying it. And I also want to make sure you realize that there's a huge difference between reading a personal development book and applying. For instance, like if you're just halfway reading it, but you're not applying to reading, then there's really no point in reading it. So like the 10 times rule, for instance, he was saying, you know, you need to write action goals down, things you're actually going to do every single day to get to the big goal, to get to whatever 2-star diamond or whatever your big goal is. So for instance, on your action list, it would be the 4 vital behaviors. So you would be talking to, say, to 10 people a day to be developing those relationships. It would be, reading 10 minutes of personal development. It would be recognizing a challenger or coach. It would be getting your workout in every single day. Okay, so that would be the bare minimum that you would do. That would just be kind of if you were going through the motions. Now, if you were doing if you were going to 10 times rule that, you would be contacting 30 to 40 people a day and creating relationships. You would be reading an hour of personal development. You would be recognizing multiple people, whether it was on Facebook or just, private message. But you need to make sure that you're applying your personal development and not just reading about it. There's a huge difference in, reading a book and applying it. So just make sure that you're doing that. Another book that you could apply is Eat That Frog. I think most of us have read that. It talks about doing whatever's on your to-do list that you least want to do first. So for me, the thing that's hardest for me is inviting people, whether it's to a challenge group or to coaching. And I know that is actually, for most of my coaches, that's the hardest thing. So I always encourage everybody to do that first. So otherwise you can talk yourself out of it during the day. So I always encourage everybody to put that as their number one thing on their list, and just do that, right when you get up in the morning. Just get it knocked out. I always hear people say, they don't have time to work the business. They don't have time to get the vital behaviors done every day. Well, I will tell you, you can do it. You just have to, if you want this bad enough, you can make it happen. You might have to get up an hour before your kids get up. And let's face it, we all like sleep. But if you want to make this happen, you might have to get up an hour early to make it happen. Or you might have to, after your kids go to bed. I know Laura was telling us that she fell asleep at her computer a couple times last week as she was messaging people. So, you might have to push yourself a little. You might have to push yourself a little, stay up a little later, do those kind of things that maybe you don't want to do. You might have to sacrifice a little bit here and there to push for these goals. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my goal last week. I am a lifetime five-star Diamond Elite coach. So what that means is I've gone through the qualification period, meaning I've held that rank for 6 weeks, but I had fallen back to 4-star Diamond, which means that I had one of my diamonds had fallen back out of Diamond rank. So last week, as most of you guys know, it was the final week to push for your goal to be recognized at Summit. So I had decided that I was going to go for 7-star to be recognized. And so I was, I reverse engineered exactly what I needed to do to get to that goal. So I realized, okay, I need to, recruit 6 coaches this week. Okay. I need to get 5 coaches back to active. All right. And so I wrote out a plan. I reverse engineered how I was going to make this happen. And I knew it meant I was going to probably have to contact over 100 people that week. And I knew I was probably going to have to do this when my kids were in bed or before they woke up, because I wasn't going to miss, my kids' events. So I was going to have to do this in the carpool line. I was going to have to do this, late at night. I was going to be short on sleep, but I was going to go after this goal. I didn't 100% know if I was going to make it happen, but I was going to do, everything I could. Okay. So anyway, I went after it 100%. And, honestly, I worked till probably 1 a.m. every night. And I was up until the last minute, and I made the people at Beachbody work overtime on the last day, over an hour overtime, so they could help me resolve some technical issues. And I just found out today that all of the issues have been resolved. So I've hit my goal, thank goodness, after Yeah, I'm so excited after lots and lots of technical issues that happened and lots of work this week working out the technical issues. So I just want to encourage you guys, like, to set your goals big. You know, I could have easily just thrown in the towel last week and been like, too many issues, too much work. I don't want to stay up late. I'm done. Throw in the towel. But I hope you guys will, you know, I encourage you guys to set your goals big and go for it. You know, what do you have to lose? And another thing I wanted to tell you real quick is, you know, when you go for a goal like this, work it out with your spouse first. And, you know, Jared knew I was going for this, so he knew that he was going to have to, you know, take on more duties with the kids. He knew I wasn't going to be doing as much laundry. He knew, you know, we were going to be eating leftovers and things like that. So he knew ahead of time the game plan, and so he knew what to expect. So I encourage you guys, when you're going for something like this, a big goal, to do that. And so say you're a brand new coach and you're wondering, what goal should I set first? Your very first goal should always be to get to Emerald as fast as you can. That will build momentum, and we will make a big announcement about it on your page. All of your friends and family will see. So it's something you want to do as fast as you can. And then hit Success Club. Those are the two goals you want to hit as fast as you can. So, Chelsea, are you ready?
Yes,
Okay.
I am. Can you guys, yeah, you can see me okay, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, this is great. I hope you guys aren't feeling overwhelmed by all the different topics we're covering, but these are kind of the really important things that Laura and Christy and I do every day, and the way we operate and how we keep our businesses moving forward, even in hard times. So I want to talk a bit about social media, because that is our bread and butter of this business. I have been on calls with you guys before talking about social media. I'm not an expert, but I have definitely learned a lot through trial and failure, trial and error. So the three of us thought it was so important that I'm going to repeat some things, and I'm going to say some new things as well. Your business is really, social media will make or break your business. How you post, what you post about, how often you post, the size of your network, whether you're connecting with your network, that is what's going to make or break your business. So first of all, you have to be focused on growing your network. Basically, this means adding friends, adding people. I add people through running free challenges. I can add, 50 new people to my friend page by running a free challenge. That's by advertising on trade sites and getting those people into my funnel, basically. I friend everyone. If they comment that they're interested, the first thing I do is send them a friend request. I did not used to do this at the beginning, and I wish that I had. So learn from my mistakes. The second thing that I do to grow my network is every person that I meet in person, I find them on Facebook. Like, the second I walk away from having a conversation with them, I friend them. I was on a field trip today with my daughter's class, and I sent a whole bunch of friend requests before I even left the parking lot of that field trip, because I used to be so nervous to do this, because I thought, oh, what if they feel like I'm being too forward, or what if they don't want to be friends with me on Facebook, whatever. I don't even care anymore. If they don't want to be friends with me on Facebook, they won't accept my friend request. But I'm telling you, 99% of people do. So they're curious, they want to see what you're all about. So I am friending everyone. You should be Facebook friends with all the parents in your kids' classes. That's an easy one. Get to know their names, look them up on Facebook, friend them. If you just meet someone, find their first and last names, look them up, friend them. There's so many ways.
Are y'all still there?
Through your posting. Okay. The second thing then, okay, now I was talking with one of my coaches last night about this, and there is just a really big distinction now between growing your network and growing your following. So I have a coach who has almost 700 Facebook friends, and she's worked really, really hard to grow that. And I know she's on the call, so she knows what I'm going to say because we talked about it last night. But when she posts, she's not getting much response. So what is the good of having, okay, we might be running short on time. So what is the point of having 700 Facebook friends if they're not seeing your posts and if they're not responding to your posts? You need to grow your following as well. Whenever you post something, you should be getting lots of responses to it. In order to grow your following, you need to be posting about your 3 to 5 things that define you. Take some time to figure out what are those 3 to 5 things that define me. They can be silly and simple. In fact, the sillier and the simpler they are, the more people will engage with you. They do not need to be anything serious. Laura Cuvion, she pointed out to me recently that my swimming pool is one of my 3 to 5 things. That totally opened up the whole, that made everything click in my mind. People want to follow people that are helping them have a break from the seriousness of life, right? Like, you want to read posts that are going to take your mind off of all this serious stuff you have going on. You want to read funny stuff, interesting stuff. Don't tell me your life is too boring. You can find a story in almost everything that you do during the day. So as I go through my day, I'm kind of looking at it through that filter of what could be an interesting story for Facebook. You want to stick to those 3 to 5 things. I'm not saying that you can never post about anything different, but in order for people to get to know you, you kind of want to be almost predictable in a way, and like, what is she going to say next about blah, blah, blah? You know, that really helps people get to know you. You want to speak to your network when you post. So instead of just saying, we just did this today, you want to put it in terms like you're speaking to a friend and drawing a response from them. So like, we're running out of time, so I'm not even going to give any examples, but just make a note of that and think about it. Please don't use collages. Post one good picture. Make sure the lighting is really good. Make it a scroll stopping lighting picture. Make it bright. Download the app PS Express. Go to the exposure, click auto. It will brighten up your whole picture. Just post one picture. No more collages, no more lots of words, none of that. People skip that stuff, it's too busy. So one picture, really good lighting. Natural light is best. Take some time to learn how to do good lighting. And if you can't do it with natural light, fix it on PS Express. I do that to all my pictures, and it has dramatically influenced how many people respond to my posts because people are noticing my pictures. We are completely out of time. For some reason, our Zoom call is not giving us as much time as we're supposed to. So we're going to leave it at that. I have one more note that I'm going to type up and put on the Team Motivate and Inspire page so that y'all can, it's an action item y'all can take. So be on the lookout for that tonight. I hope you didn't feel like I was yelling at you. I was trying to hurry. So we will, under my post on the TMI page, you guys can ask questions, and Laura and Christy and I will be available to answer all your questions. So I hope you guys all have a great night, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Chelsea.